Hi, I'm Zyrith, and today I'm going to be talking about climate change. So, according to Euronews, they made an article in May of 2024. So, it's very recent. In Mexico alone, the heat has gotten so bad, the temperatures have risen so high that the birds, bats, and other animals have died due to the heat. They have been able to save a small number of animals compared to all of but 3 times as many that have died in these scorching temperatures. But this isn't the only place that's been dealing with this sort of issue as well. In Australia, many bats are falling out of their trees, just dropping dead due to the dehydration of the sun, causing them to lose water, and so they fall down dead. Now, these animals in Australia and Mexico, they are equipped to handle these sorts of temperatures. These places are more desert climates, and the temperatures there are really hot. But it's even getting too bad for them, and too high that they themselves can't handle it. This also causes a lot of more issues with the environments as well, because now the animals are starting to move into other parts and other environments that are not their own. So now they become invasive species. They try to move to places that have more water, more shade, that are cooler, places that they don't belong. And so now the ecosystem itself is starting to suffer because those animals in those ecosystems aren't equipped to handle animals such as bats, birds, well, those specific types of birds and mice, and bigger things like coyotes and wolves and all those other sorts of animals. So now all the ecosystems and biomes are all unstable, and they will eventually collapse onto itself, because now the animals are all fighting for food, shelter, and resources. Now, some people say that the climate weather is good, mostly due into the Arctic North, because now that the ice glaciers are melting, boats are able to go through the water and oceans a lot faster than they were to have to go around them. Now, this isn't entirely true, because now the polar bears over there will then die and suffer because there's no room for them, there's no ice or anywhere for them to really live. But then the ocean currents themselves, they start to become unstable, and now there's a lot more water up in the coast than there originally was. And they want to go drill in these areas where the ice glaciers were, but that is also really bad, because those specific areas were not made to handle the sort of drilling that people want to do for the resources down there. The corals, the rocks, they were all encaved in ice, and so theoretically the rocks themselves are different than other ones that are around there, because they're not as equipped. And so the ecosystem again will suffer from it. Who knows what type of damage would be caused by drilling in these sorts of environments. The corals and all the fish and animals that live in the ocean will now have to go find other places. The life cycle itself will become unstable, because now without the polar bears, there will be an uptake of fish and other animals that they eat, which will then make it harder for the animals that the fish eat to survive, because now there's a lot more of them. And even if polar bears do end up surviving, they'll have to be either like bred out with other types of bears like grizzlies or black bears. So that's another issue, that do we really want a crossbred bear that we ended up going into extinction just because of the weather? Now, climate change has always been a problem. All throughout history, climate change has been a problem. It's always happened, it's always been there. But us as people, we have made it a lot worse. We've made it go a lot faster due to all the carbon dioxide in the air. We created it when we use light, when we use factories and cars and gases. All those gases stay up in the air, and it becomes a thick sort of blanket. So it's not able to be distributed as it should be. So now the heat is staying, and the sun is now being intensified due to all this heat. It's getting hotter upon hotter upon hotter. And frankly, it's only getting worse. Now, I wanted to do this specific topic because this is honestly a really big problem. Like, all these animals and us as people, we are suffering because now we have to have more electricity, air conditioning, and we have to adapt to the heat when a lot of people can't do that. And so it creates a lot more power, a lot more energy, and frankly, a lot more carbon dioxide in the air. And in the end, life forms, they die. Trees die because they can't get as much water as they want to. And so we're losing air, animals are losing their homes, nature is dying. The fact that deforestation is still an ongoing problem doesn't help, because now we don't have as many trees as we need to in order to somewhat mirror the effect of the heat wave, because now there's no actual clean air to do so. So what we can do is use more energy efficient things. So when they say use your washing machine throughout this specific time, we need to listen to those. We need to use more energy efficient techniques to help clear up the air around us. So now it's just really all up to us. There's a lot more that we could do, but if people don't listen, then it's only going to get worse.